Is it finally time, ladies and gentlemen? Is it finally time that we're getting the reversal that we've been waiting for? And no, not in the overall markets, but in the small caps. We're going to be breaking that down in this video, so sit back, relax, hit the like button, subscribe, check out my Patreon if you guys want all my buys, sells, call outs, morning update videos, plus more. Get yourself 5 stocks from Webull as well, and $50 from M1 Finance. All of that's linked down below. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. So it's currently 2:45 p.m. on the East Coast, and the markets in general aren't doing, they're green, don't get me wrong, but it's not a crazy green day. We have the Dow up 0.1%, we have the S&P up about 0.15%, and we have the NASDAQ up 0.25%, and the Russell's doing well, which we are going to talk about smaller cap companies today, so I guess it makes sense. Russell's up about 1%, and a lot of these small caps are up over some 7%, some 10, some 12+% in the green. And you guys know at this point in time, a lot of these small caps have been hit over the past, it's almost been a year, about 10, 12 months at this point. A lot of these have just been destroyed. We're talking some stocks have been down 50% throughout this year, 2021, some down 70%. And it's interesting because we're seeing the overall markets doing very well. Large caps are doing great. It seems like people are piling into the Apples of the world, the Googles, the Microsofts, right? The S&P 500 is crushing it because it's dominated by big tech. Those companies are doing great, but the smaller caps, companies that are growing at a much faster rate with a lot more growth potential ahead of them, these have been destroyed. And sure, a lot of them did very well in 2020 throughout the pandemic. It makes sense, but for them to be down 50, 60, 70%, to me, that is a little bit overblown, and we are going to break down. I have, 5 here on my iPad that I want to talk to you guys about. So in my opinion, as we're now wrapping up 2021, we're heading into the brand new year, and by the way, Happy New Year, guys. Happy holidays. Hope you guys did have a great 2021. I believe that we are going to see a rotation into some of these stocks. I believe we are going to see a comeback, maybe not all the way back to their 2021 highs earlier in the beginning of the year. Most of them peaked earlier in the year. Maybe we don't get back there in 2022. Maybe we do in the future at some point, but I think they are bound to see some sort of rally in 2022. These stocks include, number 1, SOFI, ticker symbol SOFI. And you guys saw my video this morning, did you not? And by the way, I make those videos every morning for Patreon, but I uploaded it onto YouTube today. I mentioned in that video that I bought more SOFI yesterday, and I started buying SOFI about 2 weeks ago at about $14.40. I added more yesterday at $14.48, and today the stock is up over 12%, up almost $2 per share, and their market cap is $12.94 billion, so definitely on the smaller end of the spectrum. And if we take a look here on the yearly chart, look, this stock peaked back in the end of January, so almost a year ago, and it went from about 28.26, well, exactly 28.26, all the way down to about 13.50. We're talking about a drop of close to 55%. And people are going to realize, in my opinion, that a lot of these stocks are heavily shorted. Don't get me wrong, there is a retail movement. I don't want to say movement, but there are retail investors in these stocks, but not nearly as much as there once was, right? And I believe once big money starts rotating out of, let's say, maybe some of the big tech, large cap, into these stocks, we're going to see that explosion. And I also believe that these are heavily shorted at this point. Maybe they're being manipulated a little bit. So I believe that rotation is coming. That's pretty much the moral of the story with all of these different stocks. And we're also seeing tax loss harvesting. You guys know that. We've been hearing that term thrown around for the past couple of weeks. These stocks, and try and understand this, guys. I'm sure a lot of you do already, but for those that don't, these stocks stocks have been down so much. So when you're looking at, let's say, an institutional investor or just a retail investor, guys, excuse me, when you're looking at these people, they are down a lot on these positions for the most part, depending on when they bought them. But some people are down a lot, and they're up a lot in the large caps like Apple, Google, other large caps, the ETFs. They're up a lot. So what they're doing is they're selling these at a loss. They're writing that against their capital gains for the year. They're taking that, they're using that as a tax benefit. And then the way tax harvesting works is you can buy the same security back after 30 days. So let's say I sold SOFI at a loss today, waited 30 days. I could buy SOFI again in February at some point. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen. A lot of people sold these stocks. They're getting hit, manipulated, shorted, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but I believe a lot is going down here, tax loss harvesting, and people are going to rebuy these stocks later on because they're not worthless. They're not garbage companies. They're pretty good companies, and I think they're worth owning. And I'm not telling you guys what to do, but for me, I'm in SOFI. I bought it here, and I've been trading it on and off for the past couple of months, made some good money on it. And that's number one, SOFI. That's one that I think is going to snap back in 2022. DraftKings is another one. This one's up about 8% today. It is up over $2. And talk about a beaten down stock. You guys are gonna get your minds blown on this one. This was a $74 stock back in March. Now it just hit $25 a couple weeks ago. That is a drop of 65%. And their market cap is about $11.6 billion as of now, meaning back in March, the market cap was, I think it was close to $30 billion, guys. No joke. Maybe $25, $30 billion. Now it's a lot less than that. About $11.62 billion market cap. And this is one that I also own. And full disclosure, I'm down on this one. This is one that I was buying in the 40s, mid 40s. I bought in the 30s as well, and I've bought a good amount here at about 27, 28. And my average now, I think it's like, it might be low 40s or high 30s at this point. So I am down a good chunk, but this is one that I personally am not going to tax loss harvest on. I mean, I've been going back and forth with myself about that, but I'm just going to hold on to it at this point. It's not a big position, so it's not like I'm going to save a lot of tax dollars if I do tax loss harvest. At this point, I'm down. I'm averaging down on it. I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm not going to tax loss harvest on every single position that I'm down on, but understand there are people that do that, and that's kind of why we're seeing the stock get destroyed, on top of maybe the rotation out of these small caps, manipulation, whatever you want to call it. So at this point, DraftKings is down a lot, and we are starting to see that pop back. It's 7% in the green today, but we're still not full-on reversing quite yet, kind of like SOFI. SOFI on the flip side, or unlike SOFI, SOFI is reversing. It's breaking out of the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart, and it's starting to move up towards that 180. So this one's way more ahead in the reversal process than DraftKings, but I'm watching both of them regardless, and I'm in both of them, guys. So SOFI, I'm in at about $14.50. I'm up a good chunk on that already. DraftKings, I'm down a little bit, a decent chunk, and I plan on just holding on to this, and I do believe wholeheartedly that it will bounce back in 2022. ChargePoint is another one. They have a market cap of $6.5 billion right now. The stock is up 11% today, and as of now, it's breaking out of the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart here, which has been resistance for about a month and some change. That's a good sign. First step to a reversal. And I think it's going back to $22 in the short term. That's right by the 180 moving average on the 4-hour chart here. If that point breaks, we're probably going mid-high 20s again, guys. And this is one that, if I show you the yearly chart, this was a $50 stock, wasn't it? $46, pretty dang close. It was $46 about a year ago, and it got all the way down to $17. So that was a drop of 63%. So ChargePoint is definitely one that, if you look on this chart, it's towards the bottom of the channel. We're bouncing. We're starting to break moving averages on the 4-hour chart. I think this is going to gain some momentum heading into 2022. And it's funny. Isn't it funny how we're at the end of the year now, literally the last 2 days of trading, today and tomorrow, and we're seeing the pop in these stocks? It's interesting. It's almost like people sold for a loss maybe a month ago, and now they're starting to rebuy before the end of the year. It's funny how this works. That's just a theory. I could be wrong. That could be complete BS, but hey, that's what I'm seeing. Tattooed Chef is another one that's been destroyed. This is the smallest stock out of the bunch, and I'm also a shareholder in this one. I think my average is about $18, so I am down a little bit. And the market cap is just $1.3 billion. Very small company, and this is down a lot. If we take a look on the yearly chart, this stock was $28 a year ago, and it just hit 14, so it went down about 48%. And at this point, it's not showing any signs of a reversal. It's been downtrending for months, and we tried breaking out about a week or two ago, failed doing so at about $17. Now we're at $15.80. We're up 3% on the day, which is a good sign, but we're not quite yet breaking out. And quite honestly, I don't think we will be breaking out fully until we start cracking $18 back into $20. So I just put my alert at $18. And the last one that I'm looking at here is Chewy, which isn't necessarily, I don't want to say it's a very small company, but it's not a big company either by any means. I mean, the market cap right now is $26 billion, so a pretty decent-sized company, right? And this stock is down a lot. We're talking it was over $100 back in the beginning of 2021. It was at $120, and it just hit $50 a couple of weeks ago, meaning we dropped close to 60% on this particular stock. And this is one that I think is very valuable, fundamentally speaking. And once we start breaking out of these moving averages, the trend, the chart, could start looking pretty nice as well on a reversal play. But we're just not there quite yet. I mean, we have been, actually, now that I'm looking at it, we did cover about $10 of ground over the past 2-3 weeks from 50. Now we're trying to crack above 60, but we're still not above the 180 SMA and the overall downwards trend line, which we have to break at this point in time. So I'm thinking if Chewy takes out $65 into the 70s, that is where a true reversal is going to happen. So the bottom line is, at this point, guys, small caps have been smoked. A lot of people have sold in fear of losing all their money, and those who actually held or they're buying this dip, I'm not saying for sure we're going to be rewarded, but I think there's a good chance that with patience, we're gonna see a reward in 2022 as we do get a rotation back into these stocks, because there's only a certain amount. I don't want to say a certain amount, but how much lower can these go? I mean, are they going to go to zero? No. There is going to be a point where they reverse, and that could be coming soon, guys. So what do you think? Drop me a comment. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, let me know your thoughts. Check out my Patreon if you guys want all my buys, sells, call outs, morning update videos, plus more. That's linked down below. And you guys could also get 5 stocks from Webull and $50 from M1 Finance. If you haven't done that already, what are you doing? Your time's running out. You literally have one more day to do that. So get your 5 stocks, get your $50. All of that's linked down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there. Peace out, guys.